Hello boys and girls, welcome to my channel, I'm For Classic and welcome to BenchART. So for today what we do have in here, and I'm not really sure why, it is Fast and Furious Crossroads, a game developed by Slightly Mad Studios and Tygon Studios, and it is using Madness Engine. So for this video I will be using 1080p median settings, which is the match for the PS4 quality, or at least it looks so. And in case you don't know, Slightly Mad Studios are the developers of Project Cars and Need for Speed Shift, so it is a developer that focuses on realism. And we have Tygon Studios, which is a developer team that was founded by the Vin Diesel himself, weird, and that created the Chronicles of Riddick and Wheelman, and also, well, this game, Fast and Furious Crossroads. Chronicles of Riddick was a decent game, Wheelman, it was a little bit so-so, and well, this one is a disaster. Alright, so let's take a look on the requirements. These guys do recommend a GTX 2080. Oh well, let's go to the minimums then. They do ask for a GTX 680 as a minimum, 8 gigs of RAM, and an AMD FX CPU. So I guess we are fine on the CPU side. So I decided to test the game with the low, median, and high settings. So with the high settings, I got an experience over 30 frames per second. Same can be said as median and low median. The low settings, it was the only setting that did provide a frame rate above 60 frames per second, and despite I did use median settings, which is a match to the consoles, the performance was a little bit superior. I was expecting much better, so I got an average of 53 frames per second with a 1% low of 40. So since this was the same settings as PS4, at least it looked so, I was expecting to have around 60 frames per second, but apparently the optimization on this game, it is a little bit bad. So moving on to 1440p, whatever if you go with low, median or median, all these settings will only provide you a frame rate above 30 frames per second, with the low settings providing an average above 66. 4K, the only setting possible, it is the low settings, where I got an average of 42 with a 1% low of 31. You still have a very low option, but that removes entirely all the shadows, so I don't think that it is a good idea, which looks very potato. So wrapping all those results together, this is what I got. So talking about a little bit about the difference of the settings. So the median settings, like I did told you for the third time, it is pretty much what it looks to be the match to the consoles, and includes volumetric lighting, good shadows in fact, and environment mapping on the cars. The environment mapping, it is clearly updated at half refresh rate, so you can clearly see that reflections on the car aren't going at full rate. If you raise to high or very high, the update on the car reflections, it is more frequent or even real time, and you get higher details on the grass and stuff like that. Lower than median settings, so as soon as you lower to low median settings, I noticed that the reflections on the cars are entirely removed, while the low settings removes entirely the volumetric lighting, which makes the game lighting a little bit too much bland. Alright, if you go to very low, like I did told you, it removes all the shadows, and that's about it. So the low settings also have worse textures, since the VRAM usage it is around 2 GB, while the low, median and median settings, and even high or very high, the VRAM consumption it is around 3 GB to 4 GB, at least on my card. So now that I've talked about the disaster that it is the performance of this game, I think we could talk a little bit about the game, and it won't be pretty. Alright, let's talk. So Fast and Furious Crossroads, it is a game that at first I was actually not seeing what was so bad about it. For example, this first mission, it is kind of Burnout style, where you can take other opponents, and it was fine. I mean, it is clearly a story-driven game, because half of the game it is pretty much cutscenes, and the missions that you do in game, in your own gameplay, are related with the cutscenes and the stuff that you are about to do. So this is not about being a racing game, because you won't be racing in tracks. I mean, you will be, but that's not the main focus of the game. What you will be doing, it is small missions, like for example tailgating a car, or I mean spying a car, hacking a car, racing on a night event, time trials where you need to go from one point to another, escape the police. So this is just some small examples what you need to do, and all of this are entirely linear. And despite you have some sort of open-ended city, the entire game it is fully linear. And for me, all these things are entirely fine. Yes, it is a story-driven game. It is not about entirely the race. So it is kind of a Need for Speed on the run. Alright, but instead of having so much races, it is more focused into the story. And I'm fine with that. If this was at least a long game. But just like Need for Speed on the Run, it is a very, very small game. It is a game that you can probably finish in 3 or 4 hours easily. And that's mainly because you can't skip cinematics. Because if you could skip cinematics, I mean, gameplay-wise, you have in here 2 to 3 hours of gameplay. Alright. But because you can't skip cinematics, and they are actually something between 5 to 7 minutes to 8 minutes, well, that really fulfills a little bit of your time. And the cinematics are offline rendered, which means that they have nothing to do with the game graphics or stuff like that. So, yes, so I think the worst part of this game, it is really the time. Alright, the time that it takes for you to beat the game. It is too small. And the game, it is very expensive. The game costs $59.99 on Steam. I think it's an absurd price for a game that you can finish in 2 or 3 hours or 4 hours. It is too small. And I have no trouble with that in many other games. But as long as the games are good, I have no issues with giving a good amount of money for the game. But the problem is, this game, it is not good. That's the main issue. So the gameplay... At first, with this car, it wasn't really bad. It was arcade-ish. It's fine with me. The handling was fine. Although a little bit more forward into the game, the handling of many cars are just really weird. Look, I loved Midnight Club 2 in the past, but it is true that the handling of many cars on Midnight Club 2, it was just weird. So it is exactly the same thing. Many cars on this game handles like many of the worst cars in Midnight Club 2, so it doesn't make any sense. They are completely uncontrollable, and honestly, it is just plainly bad, the handling of most of the cars. The story, well, I was actually enjoying it. It is not really something great. It is about a mob story, somebody that gets involved with the mob, and, well, you are owning X money to the mob, and so you need to get as much money as possible. So, yeah, it's that type of story, alright, inside the Fast and Furious lore, where you have Toretto, where you have Michelle Rodriguez. Oh, sorry, that's their actress name. But, you know, that's mostly, this game, it is mostly about the story and not about the racing. Yes, you still have time trials, yes, you still have races in the game, but most of the events that do happen, it is kind of the events that did happen on Need for Speed on the Run when it was not related with racing. And that's what this game it is about. It is a story driven game. But what does this game does good? I'm not really sure. Maybe the story, for people that love Fast and Furious, the story is not really the worst part of the game. Yes, the voice actors look like they don't want to be there, but it is passable though. The story, it is fine. But honestly, apart from that, I think everything else, it is bad, because it is an expensive game, it is a small game, cutscenes are a so-so, handling, it is depending on the cars, they are so-so, and you are about to, and as you can see on this race, the handling, it is just weird. The optimization, it is awful, it is even more demanding than Horizon Zero Dawn, and the graphics doesn't make sense for what it does demand. So my recommendation for this game, it is really not to buy it. I think you can enjoy the game if you are seriously a Fast and Furious fan, but keep in mind that this is a very small game and the handling of the cars are not there. Alright, it is just weird as hell and it is bad optimized. But you are free to like the game. I was actually enjoying the game a little bit. Yes, it was bad, but I was enjoying the story. But I mean, $59.99 for this game, it is a big off. It's like they are trying to cash grab the fans of the series, which in my opinion, it is that for me for a long time. I loved the first movie. The second one, for me, it was passable. The Tokyo Drift, I loved Tokyo Drift. Honestly, it was my favorite Fast and Furious. I know that probably I'm a minority in here, but I did love the third movie. And all the rest of the movies that gone through, after those, after the Tokyo Drift, for me, it started to be full of bullshit. and for me the series died there. So despite I did saw the movies, I don't really enjoy what they have done with the series. So yes, I guess that's all that I want to talk about Fast and Furious Crossroads. Hope you keep enjoying the rest of the video, and I do hope to see you soon. Goodbye.
I'll admit, you play the game well, but this is mine. We've got company!
These cops are paid off by the Taliban.
So they're dirty then.
I presume we can get rid of them.
By any means necessary.
Okay, split up. Let's make this a little more interesting for them. These guys mean business. Oh, what the hell is that? The cops just shot something at my car and now it's stuck in there beeping.
It's a power drainer.
Take this!
No warrant, no additional info on suspect at this time. Suspect continuing on Santa Eulalia.
Damn, you gotta get that cop off me.
Ugh, playing dirty, huh?
Suspect is 440 and considered safe.
Got you. Now to get your friend.
You ain't catching me. We're all clear. How you doing, Letty?
Just got a few flies to get off my back. 3 against 1? Sounds good to me. Okay, let's dance.
On patrols. Moving to TAC 4. Any free units? Switch over now, please.
Barcelona PD needs to update the map. That takes care of you. There's 2 left.
Suspect has exited the Via Afterburner. Still heading northeast. Patrol, suspect heading right on Carretera de la Highway. Supervisor 17. All units are currently busy. We're currently retasking.
You want me to stop and pull over? Not gonna happen.
1 David 25.
Send my regards to your friend. Just you and me.
Pursuing officer.
What you got? Roadblock? Seriously? See you around. Vienna, I'm clear. Let's get these mods done, and then we've got a truck to use.
Okay, we're already at the house. Meet you there.
Direction of trouble, please. Scope 3 pursuit units. 10-5.